Xenogears has a lot of hidden items that are easy to miss, and they are not always found in treasure chests, but rather by inspecting secret locations, playing minigames, or simply talking to NPCs. So in this video I will show you a comprehensive list of items that I like to get during my playthrough. This is my first video about this amazing science fiction RPG, and there's no way that I can cover everything in one go. So I will split this into parts, and there are more videos to follow afterwards. One of them will deal with a seemingly unwinnable boss fight near the end of the game, which you can actually beat if you are well prepared and gathered the necessary equipment earlier. I will of course highlight these items already in this and the following videos at the right time. Let's go! So let's start in Lahan Village, where you can immediately get some good stuff. First, there is a spider web in the basement of the chief's house. Just walk into the room next where you start the game and jump in the corner to grab it. Outside of the house, you can then repeatedly jump into the spooky well to get a power ring and an eyeball. Monster parts like eyeballs can be immediately sold for money, but I would hold on to them because you can also sell them in a specific place later to get more bang for your buck. Or rather, more buck for your bang. Inside the local bar, you should tell the drunk guy that drinking won't solve his problems. He will first yell that you don't understand his feelings, but he then gives you a mermaid tear because apparently he has no more use for it. And then there is an RPS maniac in another house who gives you his badge if you win against him 5 times in a row. This sounds more annoying than it actually is, because the maniac will never choose the same item that you won with during the last round. So for example, if you win against him using rock, he will not use rock afterwards, and therefore choosing scissors is your best bet and will at least result in a draw. The spiderweb, mermaid tear and RPS badge are all items that can be traded later in the game for something useful. You can also meet Luca from Chrono Trigger inside the village consultant's house and listen to her fantastic 120% explanation on how to use memory cubes to save your game. Get ready, here it comes. Awesome. There will be a test later. But eventually, Alice asks you to get a camera for her approaching marriage from a guy named Citan? Citan? Satan? I don't know. The man on the nearby mountain. And while you are on your way to the mountain path, but still in Lahan, you can read the backside of the sign near the entrance where Alice's small brother Dan manifested his thoughts about Timothy, the guy who is about to marry his sister and soon to be brother-in-law. On the path itself, you can then get a bird egg by jumping into a tree near the first sign. The bird is of course not happy about that and keeps attacking you as long as you refuse to return the egg. But it only does 1 damage, so just keep it. At the end of the mountain path, right before you arrive at Citan's house, you can get a spider in another tree which will soon serve as a tiny snack for another character. You can then find a ring from Citan's daughter Midori behind a flower bed outside of the house. But for some reason you have to wait until the near end of the game to return the ring and get a more useful item. Citan's wife Yui then uses the bird egg that you found to cook dinner, which increases your weight after eating the delicious dish. Weight is a mechanic that was initially planned to influence your character's stats, but the concept was scrapped from the final game. You can still get chunky on paper though, but there is no real consequence. Imagine that. Anyway, after the catastrophic events in Lahan, you are expelled from what's left of your hometown and have to go through the Blackmoon Forest. Now there isn't a whole lot to get here besides an arcane rod for Ellie in a chest on the second screen after you move the boulder, but did you know that you can get hop steaks instead of the usual hop jerky by defeating the hop gobs with Ellie's thermocube attack? I sure didn't, and if you subscribe to my channel you will also know all the other tips for this game that I provide in the future. The stakes are not only way more powerful in restoring your hit points between battles and sell for 150 gold each, But like other monster parts, you can sell them for even more money if you hold onto them until you get to a specific place. This is actually a nice way to make enough money for one of the most powerful items in the whole game that you can simply buy from a merchant for a hefty price. I will talk about this later in the video, but for now, feel free to farm a lot of stakes. Once you are out of the forest, there isn't anything extraordinary in the desert village of Dazel afterwards, but you can get some additional items like an extra armor for your gear and a leather vest on Avis sand cruiser during the pirate attack. To get these items, you have to go left through the engine room to escape the cruiser instead of going straight through the storage on the right side of your cell. You also have to do some jumping in the engine room and take additional damage during fights, but nothing to really worry about. After your fight against Bart, the leader of the pirates and your soon-to-be best friend, you both end up in the Stalactite cave, and boy do I hate this place. For some reason I get lost all the time and need ages to get through here. But there is a gold nugget and an iron whip that are kind of on your way and hard to miss. When you then reach the pirates' hideout, you can buy magnetic coats from the shop, which is one of the items that you need for the near impossible boss fight at the end of the game. You should buy 2 of those, but you don't have to do it here if you don't want to spend the money right now. The magnetic coats are also available in the next cities to come. Once you get to Bledavik, the royal capital of Ava, to rescue Bart's cousin Marguerite, or simply Margie, you can get the hide-and-seek badge by playing hide-and-seek with a boy in a side alley. The first location where he hides is near the northern exit behind a bridge, and he then sneaks behind some crates next to the Ether's workshop. After that, you find him near the hotel behind another wall, and finally near the south entrance in a corner, which is hard to see with the limited camera movement the game offers. Like the RPS badge, the hide-and-seek badge is also an item that you can trade later. You will eventually witness some kids stealing from an old lady on the market, and if you confront them in the same alley, you can give them 1000 gold out of the kindness of your heart. If you do so, the kids are actually impressed and promise to not steal again. They will also set up a shop later in the game, so it's worth the investment. And I also recently found out that you can bargain for lower prices on the market. Just wait a few moments while you are deciding to buy an item until the merchant offers a discount. But don't overdo it. Before your plan to rescue Margie is set in motion, Faye has some time to spend on his own, and that's when you can enter that one tent on the festival and play some minigames. If you get more than 1000 points playing Merry Go Pop, you get an iron helmet as a grand prize. Your plan then has Faye taking part in a martial art tournament where you must fight Dan as one opponent, who wants revenge for what happened in Lahan. If you don't attack him during the fight and just take the hits, he eventually gives up and throws his sister's wedding dress at you as a reminder of what you did. And if you throw a like at this video, it will serve as a reminder for me that you enjoy content about this game and make more. Once you control Bart to infiltrate the castle through the waterways, you can get a gold nugget by swimming northeast on the first junction and climbing the pipes. You then end up in a fish tank in Bledavik's restaurant and can snatch the nugget from a golden chest. Just make sure to also greet the shocked customers. Inside Fatima Castle, you can get 4 iron mails in a room on the garden's west corridor. Just grab the mails straight from the display stands. You can also snatch a hop jerky and hop meat that are hanging from the ceiling in the nearby kitchen, and a cobra cracker from a chest on the garden's east corridor. After you rescued Margie from the hands of Shakan and the Gabler forces, but before you bring her back to Nisan, you can feed the spider that you found on the mountain path to Choo Choo, a cute ball of floof blocking the door to the bridge on the Yggdrasil. You get an ether whaler in exchange for the small spider snack, which is another item that increases your ether defense, and Choo Choo will later also become a playable character. Once you are in Nisan, you can buy some unique items in the local shop. A Holy Pendant, Lifestone and an Ether Doubler. The Holy Pendant doubles the time of support effects like Hyper Mode, the Lifestone doubles the amount of healing a character receives, and the Ether Doubler doubles the damage of your Ether attacks, but they now also cost double the amount of Ether points. The Lifestone is not that good in my opinion, and you get a Holy Pendant automatically from a later character. The Ether Doubler, however, is actually one of the best items in the whole game. It's totally worth the investment, and the best thing is, it also works for Ether attacks performed by the character's gear. But the Ether Doublers are also really expensive at this point, and chances are you cannot afford a single one right now. Don't worry, you can still buy them later, and especially after you sold your monster parts, but just be aware that the shop in Nisan is not available after you ascend the second part of the Tower of Babel at the end of Disc 1. You can also get another doubler in a late game dungeon, and having 2 of them in total is a good thing if you want to win that optional but super hard boss battle near the end. So make sure to at least buy one in Nisan before it becomes unavailable. During your attack on Ava's main fleet on the border to Kislev, you can again get some easy chest items in the mountain range, like an extra armor +2, a gold nugget and a magnetic coat. So together with the other 2 coats that you bought earlier, you should now have 3 in total, which is exactly the amount you want to have for that special boss battle. After the assault is over, Faye is captured by Kislev forces and brought as a prisoner to their imperial capital Nordchen. This is actually the place where you should sell your monster parts, but this is also a good spot to end this video and continue in the next one. So stay tuned and subscribe to my channel to not miss it. Until then, you can of course watch my other videos like this one about the dark action platformer Demon's Quest, where I show you how to find all items and enable you to fight a secret and super hard boss battle and get the best ending. It's one of my first videos on this channel, so I sound a little like a broken record, but you have to start somewhere, right? And always remember that this is to be continued. Thanks for watching.